What's going on, bottom line viewers? There has been a lot, and I mean a lot, of breaking news regarding the quarterbacks in the NFL tonight, including one Deshaun Watson. The report is that Deshaun Watson is favoring the New Orleans Saints as his destination, and this report could have come from somebody within the Carolina Panthers organization. Now, Deshaun has been meeting with the Cleveland Browns. He is set to meet with the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow, but he is favoring the New Orleans Saints as his destination, which is very interesting because tonight we also saw that Baker Mayfield might be getting traded. Baker Mayfield might be getting traded from the Cleveland Browns. Baker did not specify this, but he posted on Instagram that he is basically saying goodbye to Cleveland. He said something to the degree, and I'll pull it up for you, that he is not sure what lies next for his career, that he's not sure where he'll be next year, if he'll be the Browns quarterback, if he won't be the Browns quarterback, if they're going to trade him. But pretty much what we know is that the Cleveland Browns have admitted that Baker Mayfield might not be their guy moving forward. Baker Mayfield posted on Instagram this, and I'll pull it up for you right here, as you can see. Okay? So, right here, Cleveland. The past 4 years have been nothing short of truly life-changing since I heard my name called in the draft to go to Cleveland. This is not a message with hidden meaning. This is strictly to thank the city of Cleveland for embracing my family and me. We have made many memories and shared growing in this process through all the ups and downs. I have no clue what happens next. Underline, I have no clue what happens next, which is the meaning behind the silence I have had during the duration of this process. I can only control what I can, which is trusting in God's plan throughout this process. That is the gist of it, basically. He also goes on to say, I have given this franchise everything I have. That is something I've always done at every stage and at every level, and that will not change wherever I take my next snap. Whatever happens, I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Usually you don't say that when you're not leaving the team. To the fans who truly embraced who I am and the mentality that aligned so well with this city's hardworking people. Cleveland will always be a part of Emily and my story, and we will always be thankful for the impact it has had and will have in our lives. Sincerely, Baker Mayfield. So, that is the tweet from Baker Mayfield. And we've had many updates, as you can see here. Everybody and their mom was retweeting that of Baker Mayfield. Now we have some rumors coming out. If the Atlanta Falcons trade for Deshaun Watson, if I were the Washington Commanders, I'd be all in on Matt Ryan, says NFL Rumors. Matt Ryan could be traded. Cleveland Browns Baker Mayfield's preferred destination in a trade is the Indianapolis Colts. Some free agents are waiting for Houston Texans' Deshaun Watson to make his decision moving forward. A lot going down here. Let's just see who won this poll right here. So I'm going to vote for the Saints. Where will the Houston Texans' Deshaun Watson land? Most people think it's the Browns, but I don't. What else do we got here? My Sports Update says, even if the Browns don't get Deshaun Watson, the message is out to Baker Mayfield that he's a lame duck quarterback. The Giants didn't do it to Daniel Jones. The Eagles didn't do it to Jalen Hurts. The Browns did it with Baker. The Browns took a meeting with Deshaun Watson, signaling they're not 100% committed to Baker Mayfield. Also, Marcus May signed. We'll talk about that in a bit. Multiple reports now that the Panthers and Saints are offering at least 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. And the Panthers believe that Deshaun Watson is leaning towards choosing the Saints per Aaron Wilson. This is all happening right now, guys. Josina Anderson says, I'm told tonight the compensation ask for Deshaun Watson trade has not varied even with the recent developments so far. The Texans are still seeking 5 to 6 premium assets to consummate a deal. A league source added, they've remained firm but fair in discussions. Okay. So that is that. And that is the Twitter machine. And those are the updates. Now, what's my opinion on this crazy situation? We've got so much going on in the NFL right now. If you guys haven't already, make sure you do Gronk spike that like button. Get those likes up there for many people to find this. Now, let's begin with all the destinations for Deshaun Watson, and we'll go through all the quarterback madness within that. So let's start with the New Orleans Saints. So as I believe it, the Saints are the favorites from all the reports. Why would Deshaun Watson choose the New Orleans Saints? The biggest reason I believe they would choose the New Orleans Saints, or any quarterback would choose the New Orleans Saints, is the franchise stability. The Saints are a very strong franchise. They have been one of the best NFL franchises over the last 20 seasons, which really began with Drew Brees and Sean Payton in 2006. Ever since then, they have been a very strong franchise. Now, there is no Sean Payton, but the ownership is strong. The management is strong. And the coaching is still quality. You also have some quality players, like a strong defense, potentially Michael Thomas there. Alvin Kamara, I would assume, would remain a Saint. And then a decent enough offensive line. It's not as strong as it used to be, the Saints, as a roster, but they're still strong enough. With a guy like Deshaun Watson, they would be quality. But I think it has more to do with the city, more to do with the stability of the franchise. So that's why you choose the Saints. Now, Deshaun Watson to the Saints. The Saints have had a tricky cap situation, but they're willing to give up their assets for a true franchise quarterback, as they have seen, first and foremost, have they seen right in front of their faces how a franchise quarterback can change their franchise, just as it did with Drew Brees when he walked in the door. So they understand that they need a quarterback above all else, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get him. And the Saints do this very often. They go out there and they're aggressive. Now, the Saints as well, with Deshaun Watson, if they don't land him, my understanding and my guess, this is just my guess, would be that they go with Jameis Winston. So the reason I feel like Jameis Winston hasn't been signed yet is because he is waiting for what happens to Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson goes to the Saints, he'll go elsewhere. Maybe the Colts, maybe the Seahawks, somewhere else. But if Watson does not go to the Saints, let's say he goes with the Panthers or the Browns, then Jameis Winston will go to the Saints. That's what my guess would be. So that's the Saints. Next, you've got the Cleveland Browns. To me, if I was Deshaun Watson, I would go to the Cleveland Browns. Okay? They have one of the stronger coaches. They have a championship-ready roster, and all they really need is another wide receiver. And I understand that Cleveland, and no offense to you in Cleveland out there, but Cleveland is a pretty ugly city in comparison to New Orleans. But I would say that Cleveland is a cool sports city, and there's a vibe there, and they really want to win. And I like the management. From an outside perspective, I think they do a good job in the front office. I like Kevin Stefanski as a coach. I would go to Cleveland if it was me. But who knows? Maybe Watson has seen how Baker has been treated there and doesn't like that. I don't know. But I don't know what's going through his mind. Maybe he just likes the allure of the Saints. And those are two good franchises. I think there's respect for both of them there. Now, with Cleveland, the other question is Baker Mayfield. As I just read his Instagram post there, it appears that Baker Mayfield could be on his way out no matter what happens with Deshaun Watson. Now, when I first saw it, I assumed it was just like, okay, well, Watson goes there and Baker wants to leave. But it looks like Baker might want to leave regardless. So there's 3 destinations for Baker Mayfield that make sense. First is the Seattle Seahawks. Why the Seattle Seahawks? Well, and I could probably pull this up right now, but you guys might remember this. So when Baker Mayfield went first overall, there were rumors about the Seattle Seahawks actually offering Russell Wilson for that pick with the intention to pick Baker Mayfield. So the Seahawks have long had a love affair for Baker Mayfield. And if Seattle shows that love and that support towards Baker, I'm sure that he would love to go there. It's also, a pretty cool organization, a successful franchise, and Pete Carroll's a respected coach. They also have weapons there, and I think that would work. The second destination would be the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think the Colts and the Browns are too different in terms of the way they're built. They're run-heavy offenses with good offensive lines and offensive coaches, and they both have similar offensive schemes. I actually think the Colts have a better passing game than the Browns do. They also probably have better receiving weapons than the Browns do at this point. So I feel like, at least it's close. So I feel like Baker with Frank Reich would probably be fairly similar to what Baker has been with Cleveland. But I will say this, Baker has more upside than somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo. So there's more reason for the Colts to trade for Baker than Jimmy Garoppolo. Less injury history there, stronger arm, more athletic, younger. So Baker probably has more upside than Jimmy Garoppolo, who's the biggest trade candidate out there for the Colts. Other considerations for the Colts are guys like Gardner Minshew, and I'm not sure. So then the third destination is the Panthers. Panthers are very aggressive. Panthers have wanted a quarterback badly. The Panthers traded for Sam Darnold, and that didn't work. Would they be willing to trade for Baker Mayfield? The Panthers would be the third destination there. They have some solid weapons. They got to work on the offensive line. Christian McCaffrey's nice. They've got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson still there. So they've got plenty of receivers to work with and a good defense. So I don't know. Maybe the Panthers. That would be an upgrade from Sam Darnold, in my opinion. Now, if I was an NFL franchise, I'm not sure I'd be all over getting Baker Mayfield. But if I was a team like the Colts, I would be willing to look at him for at least a year. If I was trading for him, what I would be looking for is to trade for him for this season, considering his contract is almost up on his rookie deal. I would be looking to get him on his rookie deal as it currently is right now. I'd be looking to keep that contract for a year or two or whatever it is, and then assessing him in my building, in my system, the person on and off the field, the player on the field, at practice, in games, and then be willing to see if he was my franchise quarterback. So Baker Mayfield might be a nice trade for a team like the Colts, who could get him for a year or maybe two, and then they could decide if they want to keep him or not. So Baker might be worthwhile in that regard because he's a top 20 quarterback talent-wise. He dealt with some injuries this year, and I do think he's much better than he showed this season. And although I've been very critical of him, he has a lot more upside than a lot of the other quarterbacks on the market or that are available. And then you've got the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta has Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, the rumor is, could be traded if Deshaun Watson lands in Atlanta. Now, just by assessing the environment here, Atlanta appears to be the worst or the lowest on the totem pole of destinations. If that's the Patriots totem pole right there, right? You see that little Patriot guy? Atlanta's at the bottom, all right? So Atlanta's at the bottom. They're unlikely to get Deshaun Watson. But if they do, Matt Ryan could be on his way out. Where would Matt Ryan land? My best guess would be the Colts. And I've been saying for at least a year or two that the Colts would be a perfect spot for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, obviously, fairly similar player to Phillip Rivers, who they had a couple seasons ago. But I think Matt Ryan is less advanced in terms of his age and decline that Rivers was at that point. So he's a pocket passer, rhythm passer, accurate, smart. He's not quite the quarterback that he was before, but he's still quality. He could still win you games. He could still go far in the playoffs. So Matt Ryan and the Colts would make a lot of sense. Plus, Matt Ryan has been most successful with Kyle Shanahan, and not saying Frank Reich is Kyle Shanahan, but where you have a solid balance and you have some play action off of it, Matt Ryan has won MVPs off that formula. So Matt Ryan could be a nice destination, or the Colts could be a nice destination for Matt Ryan. I wouldn't see Matt Ryan going to Seattle. I don't think that makes sense. Maybe Cleveland. Would Cleveland consider Matt Ryan? That would be interesting. Would Cleveland and Atlanta be willing to flip quarterbacks? That I don't know. Maybe that's crazy talk, but I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. Now, I've said this many times, guys. A couple people are bringing up Gardner Minshew. If I was a team out there, if I was Seattle or the Colts, and I couldn't get Deshaun Watson, give me Gardner Minshew, bro. $2.5 million. I don't know what the Colts are doing, by the way. They've spent literally zero money this free agency, and they have cajillion dollars out there. If I was the Colts, I'd probably look to trade for Matt Ryan if I could. But if I couldn't, I'd switch focus to Gardner Minshew. Now, Deshaun Watson, like I said, I think most likely the Saints. That changes the landscape of the NFC a little bit. I'm not sure what Deshaun Watson's going to look like this season. I'm not sure if he's going to have some sort of rust. But he's, I would say a lower end top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. And I do think that would make the Saints a playoff team. Despite losing Sean Payton, I still think they've got a good enough team. And they've made a move, which helps their defense. So looking at their defense here, some people are talking smack about the Colts. Saints need a wide receiver for sure. Okay, so Marcus May. Saints signed Marcus May, safety, to a 3-year, $28.5 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. What are the Saints getting in Marcus May? So they basically swapped Marcus Williams and Marcus May. Marcus May has been more injury prone than Marcus Williams, has been more inconsistent than Marcus Williams. They are, I would say, similar but different. Both are free safeties. I think Marcus May is more well-rounded of a player. I don't think he excels in coverage the way Williams does, but I think Marcus May has more ability in terms of his in-the-box ability to play the run and make plays in tackling, against the run and things of that nature. But he's also good as a free safety in coverage. It's a good swap for the Saints. I think it's good in terms of money. It looks to be a lot less expensive than Marcus Williams, which I would really place May and Williams along the same lines of the similar players. Like in terms of value and ability, I think they're both top 20 safeties in the NFL when they're playing at their best. Now, I think a big problem for May has been just the stability of the Jets, bad coaching, poor scheme, inability to put him in the right situation. He's played strong safety, free safety. He's done a little bit of everything. So I think you're getting more versatility out of Marcus May than Marcus Williams, but you're probably getting less consistency and less of that high-end free safety play that you had with Marcus Williams. I have said that Deshaun Watson is overrated. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Marcus May is a nice signing for the Saints, and I think that 3 years, $28.5 million is a good contract for sure and a deal, and maybe that's a signal of what's to come for the Saints as well if Marcus May heard something about Watson potentially going there. Now, the Deshaun Watson conversation. So I've said Deshaun Watson is a bit overrated. I only say that to people that put him in the top of the top 5 conversation. Reason I say that is few things. Okay, let's start with his game as a whole. Extremely electric playmaker. Exciting. Excellent at extending plays, avoiding sacks. Pretty awesome arm. I mean, top 10 arm-ish. And very good deep ball. I would say he has a top 5 deep ball in the NFL. And yeah, like one of the best playmaking quarterbacks in the NFL. Also can run. Good scrambling ability. I wouldn't say he's in the category of Lamar. I don't think he's in the category of Josh Allen as a runner, but he's really good. I would say he's probably in the top 5-ish runners in the NFL, not Kyler Murray, somewhere below there. So he's a good scrambler. Now, as a quarterback, his flaws come where he invites pressure, he holds on the ball too long. Some people blame that on his O-line. Not true. He invites pressure. He's like Russell Wilson. He holds on to the ball. He tries to make the big play too often. I've noticed that his mechanics sometimes are a bit sloppy. He gets inaccurate, especially in the intermediate and short ranges. Less consistent than top quarterbacks in the NFL. If you compare him to Brady and Rodgers and Mahomes and Allen, his accuracy is less consistent from a down-to-down basis. And just point blank period, the guy went 4-12 in 1 year. And elite quarterbacks don't go 4-12. So I think he's been a little bit overrated. But he is a very talented player. And I do think they need to add a receiver outside of Michael Thomas. If the Saints land Deshaun Watson, I would look to land Will Fuller, which would make a lot of sense to go with Deshaun Watson because they have a rapport already. Or maybe you even somehow get Brandon Cooks from the Texans as well. But I don't know. But, yeah. So I do think Watson's slightly overrated to answer your question, Ultra. But, like, he's a top 10 quarterback for sure. There's no doubt about that. I just don't think he's, like, top 5 or whatever. Eddie says, go Dolphins. What's up, Tash? What do you want me to do? This is my show, man. I just talk. Yeah, Watson's contract. Let's take a look at that. Mr. Don, where do you think he ranks in the NFL? And I'll tell you if I think he's overrated or not. I'll just say this. I've never seen Russell Wilson go 4-12. Now, the yearly cap hit here. So 2020, 9 million, 2021, 15. It bumps up a ton in 2022. It'll be interesting to see if they restructure that. $40 million cap hit in 2022. He's 27 years old. $40 million. Let's look up where that ranks. So quarterback contracts 2022. Watson's actually first in the NFL. I don't know if you've watched the Seahawks teams in the past few years, and I'm not even a Seahawks fan. I could care less. They were just as bad as the Texans teams. I mean, they were pretty bad. Ryan Tannehill, $38 million, which is crazy. Matt Ryan, $36 million. Deshaun Watson, 40 is his cap number in 2022, which is the highest in the NFL. It's above Mahomes, above Cousins, above, for some reason, Jared Goff. Aaron Rodgers probably is going to get back up there some point. That's at least according to Over the Cap. Let's check Sport Track to see if that's the same. Yeah, it's the same. Mahomes, yep. Brady's at 20 million. That's a steal. So yeah, Watson's 40 million, 42 million, 37, 32. So it actually goes down. So in terms of the contract, it is expensive this year and next year, but you could find a way to maybe even that out if you want, or you could. If I was the Saints, and I'm sure there are geniuses with the cap this way, but if I was the Saints, I would try to even out the money this year to try to even it out over the next 4 years, because the cap hit for Watson actually goes down after 2023. And you know that the cap is going to go up. So I would probably even it to, 39 or 40 across the board, whatever you have to do. How do I feel about the Patriots at the moment? I'm a little bit frustrated, but I understand it. I posted a TikTok on the Bottom Line View TikTok. If you want to check it out about my feelings about it, I think they're building for 2023, 2024. Belichick's got a plan for the future. It's just might not involve winning this year. They might not be good this year, and that's okay. Don Breezy says Watson's going to Cleveland. He ain't going to New Orleans. No damn Saints. Bucks Nation. So someone's biased here, obviously, Bucks fan, but it looks like he's going to the Saints. I would go to the Browns. That's just my opinion, but the Saints would be my second choice if I was the quarterback. Watson or Lamar? I prefer Lamar, personally. That's just my opinion, though. You could disagree if you like. Romeo says Watson to the Cardinals for Murray. That would be wild. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll answer them right now. News on Baker Mayfield. So I read it out earlier, Pikachu. But he basically posted on Instagram that he might be on his way out. It looks like he's disgruntled. He's not liking the way he's being treated, and he doesn't know what his future is going to be. This is reading between the lines. This isn't what he said, but from my perspective, he is not loving the commitment to him as the quarterback, so he might want to be traded. He might want to be on his way out. But if Watson lands there, obviously, he will be out of there. But if he doesn't go to the Cleveland, then I still think he might want to leave. That's kind of me reading between the lines. What do I think about the Jags overplaying some players? Discussed that in some of my free agency stuff already, but it's just what the Jags do, man. They do this every year. I don't know what else to say. They do this every single year. They pay average players too much money, and that's not how you win. But I do like some of their signings. I actually think they signed more quality players this year. Like, they spent a lot of cap money last year too, right? But they spent more on quality players this year. There was one or two of them that I thought were too much. I thought, like, way too much for Christian Kirk. The others were okay. Like, they weren't terrible signings, in my opinion. What do I think the Falcons need to do tomorrow? The Falcons man, they need receivers. Guys used to have the best receiving core in the NFL. They got no receivers. Russell Gage left. They got to re-sign. They re-signed Patterson yet? I don't know if they have, but regardless, defensively, they need they need a lot of stuff. Pass rush. Obviously, linebacker now is going to need some work because Oluokun left. But mostly, they need wide receivers and they need front seven playmakers. But they need a lot of stuff, man. I don't even know if trading for Watson would help necessarily because they need to build a lot of their teams still. Where is Joe Flacco going to go? Real talk. To the Hall of Fame. Hey, I hope the Patriots are competitive this year, but looking at the landscape of the AFC, bro, Isaiah, I'm a Patriots fan. I don't see it. I mean, Bills are better. The Dolphins are just as good. The Jets are getting better in their own division. If you were to say who has a more talented roster, the Jets or the Patriots, I don't know. Maybe the Jets. Now, Patriots have a Belichick, so I'll give that. But the Patriots got a lot of work to do in this offseason. They got a lot of work to do. The Ravens are better. The Browns are more talented. The Bengals are better. The Steelers aren't better, but who else? You got the Colts, who don't have a quarterback, so we'll say the Patriots are better than them. Titans are better than the Patriots, probably. Not the Texans, not the Jags. The Broncos are better. The Chiefs are better. The Chargers are better. How are they going to make the playoffs based on that right now? They're just not there yet. Maybe they can be with a few moves. I wouldn't leave that out, but it feels like way too much pressure on Mac Jones to take a huge step for them to make the playoffs. He's going to have to play at a really high level with this team to make it to the playoffs. Someone said that Watson is much better, or it's not even close with Lamar. Lamar's won an MVP. How many MVPs has Watson won? Matthew Stafford will sweep Tom Brady again this upcoming season. Doubtful, but good luck, sir. Paul says, hey, do you think that Oil can Brady will last the whole season next year? Absolutely. Hasn't missed a season since 2008. And I don't know why you would hope for him to miss any games. The more of the greatest player of all time we see, the better. What about the Panthers, says Lined Paper? They've got a chance, but it's really not up to the Texans at this point. It's up to Deshaun to make the decision, and just based on the Panthers' track record and their reputation at the moment is not very good in terms of the coach, in terms of the front office. So it's Watson's decision, and I don't think Carolina is that enticing to a quarterback at the moment due to all of those factors. The Saints and the Browns are more attractive because they have stronger foundations of management, coaching, and all that stuff. And the Panthers have talent on their roster, but it has probably more to do with the coach and the management. Eddie says, Mitch, question, the Dolphins will never win a Super Bowl with Tua. That's not really a question, but no, I don't think they'll ever win a Super Bowl with Tua. Cryptic Ninja, what's up? Says, if Deshaun Watson goes to the NFC South, who takes the division? I'd still go with the Bucs, although I don't think who wins the division really matters, to be honest with you, as we saw the Bucs won the Super Bowl in a year that they were a wild card team. But I think the Bucs are the favorites to win the NFC at the moment for me. Obviously, Watson hasn't landed yet, but they've got a pretty good team. And they've got Tom Brady, so that helps. Colts fans, who would you rather have, Baker or Jimmy G, asks Afix. I would rather have Baker moving forward. Unless you can tell me I get Kyle Shanahan, then maybe I'll take Jimmy. Who's going to be our OC now that Josh is gone? That's a good question. Maybe Joe Judge, which I'm going to cry. Cost for Derek Carr. No idea. There's no rumors regarding Derek Carr leaving the Raiders, although I don't think it would be a bad idea if they traded Derek Carr due to the fact that their division is so darn tough. I don't think they're going anywhere with Derek Carr, even though I like Derek Carr a lot, actually. I'm very high on Derek Carr, but the Raiders, I don't think they've got any chance of beating the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos in that division and winning that division. Unfortunately. Nick thinks the Steelers are better than the Patriots. Rain says Cousins or Ryan to the Colts. Which one would you take? I'd rather have... Ooh, that's actually a really good question. I think Cousins is more talented at this point. But I don't know if I would trust him over Matt Ryan. I don't know. Like, if you were telling me, that's a weird one because I think Cousins is better, but I don't know who I would rather trust in a big moment, Ryan or Cousins. That's pretty close to me. I think I would take Cousins, but it's pretty darn close. They're very, very, very similar at this point in time. This is, it's not Matt Ryan from 5 years ago. Troy says, man, if he's going to the Saints, it's going down. We've got to fly, Eagles fly. Chaz says, so should we get Deshaun or stick with Baker? Which dumb move is slightly less dumb? Well, getting Deshaun would be dumb or would be less dumb than sticking with Baker. But I don't think you're in a bad spot either way. I don't think Baker can be worse than he was last year. I really don't. Do I think Tom Brady will decline like Big Ben or Peyton Manning? Never. If he would have, it would have happened by now. It's never going to happen. Unless he gets hurt really bad. Like, the funny thing about Brady is, like, somebody was saying on one of my comments, Brady's going to suck or whatever. It's like, if Brady sucks, like Brady's standard of sucking, he would still be like the 8th best quarterback in the NFL. Andrew Luck to the Jets. I would love to see Andrew Luck come back, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, unfortunately. Jay Cutler, future Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame badass. And interception thrower. What do the Bucs have to do to beat the Saints? Does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, unless they play in the playoffs, what they have to do, though, is they've got to be more flexible in their game plans. The biggest thing that's hurt the Bucs against the Saints is they roll out and they have the same game plan. They never adjust. And the Saints have a good feel for what the Bucs do every time. The Bucs get out-coached every single time they play the Saints. Period. Every single time. That's what's got to change. Also, Bruce Arians is supremely overrated. You guys have sent a lot of messages, so I'm keeping up here. Browns fans deserve to get Watson, says Bill Murray. Who day? Any chance we get Dante Jackson to the Bengals? That could happen. I do think the Bengals are looking to add a cornerback at some point throughout the offseason. I believe they've been in on Stephon Gilmore. I could be wrong about that. I think they're one of the teams rumored for him. But Dante Jackson, I haven't heard anything about him yet, but I'm just thinking about the fit. I mean, I think it could work in that defense. He's been mostly zone corner in Carolina. I do think the Bengals need to add a corner for sure, opposite Chidobe Awuzie on the other side. Yeah, it could happen. I don't think he'll be too expensive. He's got some upside. Bring back Johnny Manziel. Yes. The problem with Peyton is he didn't ever have a strong arm to begin with, and once he got the neck surgery, it really hurt his arm strength. The crazy part about Brady is you could argue his arm has gotten stronger recently than it was like 2-3 years ago, which is insane. He still has one of the 10 strongest arms in the NFL, which is insane. He's 45. Afix says, you think the Niners add another corner like Casey Hayward? Probably nobody super expensive. I would think maybe a depth player. My thought would be Casey Hayward's probably a little bit too expensive, given how well he played last year, but I wouldn't count it out on a one-year deal, potentially. Bengals are also in on Bradbury. Okay, yeah. Bradbury could be traded. We'll see. Seattle would be a natural landing spot for Watson because here's my problem, though, Ernest, is it would almost be like trading for the same player, which is what you're saying here, which wouldn't really make sense. You know what I mean? They just traded Wilson. Like, I think they want those picks to rebuild their team and stuff. So I get that Watson is younger, and I get that, but I don't know, man. You're not getting any advantage with this contract. Contract's arguably worse than Wilson's. Seahawks are in trouble. Well, they're not going to be good this year, but they've got a lot of resources to get good in the next few years. So I think they suck this year. They're going to be the worst team in their division. But after that, I think things are looking up for them. What will the Saints have to give up for Watson? Looks like 3 firsts is the minimum for every team that is in on Watson. So that includes the Saints. 3 firsts and more, potentially. Do I think Gilmore would be willing to take a 1-year deal to prove it, like a contender like the Bucks, Chargers? I don't know if it would necessarily be a prove it deal, but I think he might be interested in a 1-year deal just for a bunch of money. Just maybe that might be most suitable for him. I don't know. He does have a family and stuff, right? So he might be looking for an extended contract, though, to finish his career. I do think for Gilmore, though, it is important for him to think about, I think, where he's going to play, because he's somebody that's very close to the Hall of Fame. And if he goes somewhere where he could add to his legacy potentially for the next 3 years, then he might be able to get into that Hall of Fame. He already has a ring. He has Defensive Player of the Year, so he's pretty close already, but that's something to think about, I would assume. Bulaga is cut by the Chargers. Will they draft or sign a right tackle? They could draft one. They might sign a lower tier guy, though. The AFC West is loaded. Yep. Cryptic Ninja says, any team you think will go undefeated? Probably not. The NFL actually, I'll say this much. The NFL appears to be a lot better in 2022 than it was in 2021. For whatever reason, I thought 2021 did not offer a lot of very strong football teams, and I do believe in 2022 we're going to have quite a few very strong rosters. So I'm happy about that because I feel like it's been a little bit since we've had like 5 or 6 really strong teams, and I think that might be the case this year. Thank you, by the way, for the super chat. How do I pronounce your name? Productions. B Productions. Colt, I don't want to butcher your name. But thank you so much. Seahawks trade for Matt Ryan or sign Cam Newton? I don't think either one. The Titans won't trade for Deshaun Watson because he's in the AFC South. The Texans will not trade within their own division. All right, guys. I think that's it for me. So, to recap, Baker Mayfield could be on his way out of Cleveland. Rumors swirling. He posted on Instagram. If you haven't already checked that out, check that out. It's all over Twitter as well. Baker Mayfield on his way out of Cleveland. Not very happy about it. Could be traded. Especially if Deshaun Watson goes there. He's out. But even if he doesn't go there, he might also be out. Atlanta's the lowest team on the totem pole for Deshaun Watson. But if Deshaun Watson lands there, Matt Ryan could be traded, most likely to the Colts. The Colts look like the team waiting to see what happens with Deshaun Watson to make a move. Based on where he goes, their decision will be made. Who they trade for. Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, pick up Jameis Winston. Saints are the favorites to get Deshaun Watson. If they don't get Deshaun Watson, they'll re-sign Jameis Winston, in my opinion. The Browns are the second favorite to land Deshaun Watson. That's the recap of the quarterback rumors. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to Gronk spike that like button. And also, don't forget to Gronk spike the notification bell for the latest upload and to be notified when I go live next. I've been covering free agency the whole week. Every single darn move. I give you my analysis, my thoughts, and my reaction to every single move. So tomorrow, I will be back live tomorrow night to discuss all of the free agency action on day 3 of NFL free agency, including whatever trades come out. If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter. Everything's in the description, but Twitter at Mitch Milani, Milani. Instagram at TheBottomLineView, same as the channel. Also putting out some TikToks. If you guys like the little snappy short content, you can follow the TikTok. Everything is in the description, so go check that out. But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all the new people in here and also the OGs. We are out. Peace.